Hello, everybody. We're delighted that you are taking the time to take this pre-departure uh, information in hand for your upcoming cruise that you're going to be having, Paris to Burgundy and Provence. Uh, Please Go Away Vacations extends its appreciation for you having reserved. And so now, Paula, let's go down the line and let's start looking at some of the things you and your fellow passengers are going to be doing. It's a wonderful itinerary. You actually start out in Paris and spend 2 nights in Paris, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And we've all heard about the song Springtime in Paris. Well, you're going to be in springtime and you're going to be in Paris. Uh, you're going to have the opportunity to explore in depth what is often referred to as the City of Lights. And after you've spent your time in Paris, you're going to be taken by motor coach, or I should say, a high-speed train in this instance, over to a point where you will be transferred by motor coach to your waiting river vessel, which is going to be your home for the rest of the trip. And as you sail generally southward on an itinerary that will take you through the 2 areas of France commonly referred to as Burgundy and Provence. Famous for many, many different things, but you will spend a total of 7 nights on your luxury river cruiser before you end up at the tail end of your trip on the French Riviera. This experience that you are about to have and enjoy is a cooperative effort. Avalon Waterways, which is a member of the family of Globus family of brands, and Please Go Away Vacations. We're now observing our 53rd year of serving the traveling public, and we have used Avalon River Cruises many times in the past, and quite honestly, we have come to recognize their superior quality and that which you will enjoy. As is always true with a feature tour, it's going to be personally escorted. And your personal hostess on this trip is going to be Paula Oxman. She's going to be speaking here in a few minutes. But Paula has ascended to the presidency of Cheyenne Travel, Please Go Away Vacations, now that Marilyn has retired after 46 years and 6 months with the organization. But Paula's no new kid on the block. She's a 30-year team member veteran of our organization. And I am always pleased when I have the opportunity of introducing Paula, because I can also add another aspect to her career that she hesitates to mention herself, and that is the travel agent top 25 logo that you see to the right of her picture. Recently, Paula was selected from all the professional travel agents in the United States as being one of the top 25 travel agents in the entire United States. And so congratulations to you, Paula, but this too is an assurance to each and every one of you that you are going to be on good hands. I referred to the river cruiser that you're going to be on, and it's going to be on the new Avalon Poetry 2, which is filled with many inclusions and benefits that are almost too many to mention, but we're going to take a minute or two and start mentioning some of those things. What you're going to experience on this river cruise consists of these benefits and inclusions. Wall-to-wall panoramic windows. We'll talk a bit more about that later. Non-smoking staterooms and ship's interior. The entire interior of the ship is non-smoking. You're going to have a new, elegant, contemporary design, something that the older river cruise ships sort of lacked, but you're going to have that present on your experience. You're going to have headsets for your guided shore excursions while in Europe. This means that you will be able to put on your headset and be in listening communication with your local host or hostess that is giving you detailed information. No longer is it necessary for everyone to huddle real close around your local guide. You can now relax and have the opportunity to hear with clarity what they are saying and how they are describing things on the headsets that you will be wearing and you will be controlling. You're going to have in each port of call sightseeing with expert local guides included. Uh, you're going to find that in addition to these opportunities with these local guides, there may be the opportunity for some additional activities to participate in if you so desire, but realize that you are going to have your itinerary rather full with activities that are already provided for you in the one price that you have paid. And certainly expert local guides in each instance is one of those benefits. Room service for continental breakfast and beverages. Now, I need to point out that a service fee applies if you do take advantage of this, but early on, particularly on a river cruise ship, as the countryside is literally floating by your front window, it may well be worth the experience and a service fee to enjoy a continental breakfast and beverage some morning while you are on board. Complimentary computer use in the public areas. In this day and age of instantaneous communication throughout the world, it's well to know that complimentary computer use is going to be available to you. Complimentary Wi-Fi access, same benefits along the same category and lines. You're going to have the onboard adventure center with active gear, bikes, Nordic walking sticks, watercraft, and maps. And this is for the more energetic of you that may want to get out and actually engage in some in-depth physical exercises or take a more active role in your sightseeing, maybe riding a bicycle along some of the areas that you're going to be visiting. It's all entirely up to you. These are in addition to the things that are already included for you and which our team has provided for you. You're going to have your choice of leisurely, traditional, or independent sightseeing at pace options. Now, what that means is that if you're fast and energetic and want to sort of be on the run all the time, you'll want to select an escort that is going to give you that type of experience. On the other hand, and I know we've had some people here in the office checking on this, more slow-paced or easy walkers, as they are sometimes referred to, can be advantageous. You are in control of the type of on-land experience that you enjoy. And next we have onshore and onboard experiences with local people. In other words, you're going to get behind the scenes and learn a little bit more than quite often is the case by being able to get to know the locals, to see what the locals do and things of this nature. But you know, there's still more benefits and inclusions, and Paul, I'm going to ask you to round that out because I've been talking quite a bit.
Okay. There is also a state-of-the-art fitness center, so those of you that are used to exercising daily can certainly take advantage of that. There's an onboard assistance is available to recommend, reserve, and further personalize your cruise. So in free time, if there's something that you have in mind, there will be assistance to help us accomplish those kinds of goals. There's a sky deck game area that you can go to as we're sailing along so that you can pass the time or just watch the scenery. There's a well-stocked library with many books, cards, and board games. Complimentary bottled water, fresh fruit, and cookies available throughout the day. Not only can you get the bottled water, but also iced tea, coffee, hot tea are always available throughout the day. The Sky Deck has a premium lounge, chairs, and whirlpool, shade awnings, and outdoor deck game area. There's a convenient elevator service that goes to everything except the Sky Deck. There's an outside viewing deck, so it's really wonderful as we're going along. We're going to be cruising through the backyards of people throughout France, so it's really neat to be outside and viewing that as we go along. We'll have an English-speaking friendly crew, staff, and professional cruise director. There will be onboard lectures, activities, and entertainment. And the Sky Deck Whirlpool for those of you that want to enjoy that. There's a hair salon. And Larry, why don't you give us some information about the kinds of cabins and things to expect on board?
Paula, I'd be delighted to. And ladies and gentlemen, let me call your attention to the configuration which you have on the screen now. It's referred to as a panoramic suite. If you chose this particular category, this is going to be the layout of your room. If you chose a different category, it's going to be somewhat similar. But Avalon has won numerous industry awards for its ingenuity in the way it has designed its staterooms on board a river cruiser. As a fact, river cruisers are long and narrow. They have to be in order to get through the locking systems of the rivers of Europe. And so this has presented some challenges over the years as how to design a stateroom to maximize the utilization of it. Well, first of all, Paula, can you highlight the area by maybe circling with your cursor there over? You can see that cursor on the right-hand side of the screen moving. You can see those blue vertical lines there. Ladies and gentlemen, those blue vertical lines that you see are floor to ceiling glass windows and doors. In other words, your entire wall that looks to the outside from your stateroom is in fact one big picture window, floor to ceiling, wall to wall. Additionally, configured in that glasswork is a sliding door so that you can actually open up your sliding glass door and have the air that is fresh flowing in from the outside. In other words, what you have created for yourself, particularly if you will look at the furniture, which is right adjacent to those blue lines, the circular and square, those are pieces of furniture. You can sit there and literally have a open air balcony overlooking what you are seeing and doing. There are no river cruise ships that have balconies per se, where you actually go out on a balcony. But what Avalon has done is, by their design of windows and use of placement of furniture, they have created an indoor open air balcony for you. Now, look at the queen size bed, which is right there in the center upper portion of that slide. You will notice that the headboard is toward the left, and that your feet, when you are in bed, are actually pointed toward those open air windows. I will almost guarantee and be willing to wager with each and every one of you that at some point during your cruise, you're going to lie down on that bed. Maybe it's just for 10 or 15 minutes during the course of the day. Kick off your shoes, fluff up that pillow, and watch that countryside float by as you literally sail through the backyards of France. And then, of course, the light blue area on the left-hand side is your full shower, bathroom facility, sink, and then closets, vanity desk, and a settee on the lower portion. Rooms are soundproofed, and you have the most maximum use of a stateroom possible on your river cruise ship when you are with Avalon. Now, additionally, let's go out to the exterior room, some of the areas on the ship that we'll be seeing, Paula, other than our stateroom. You can see a bar area in the upper left-hand corner. Now, I know that from having traveled with several of you, that this is a nice place to meet and greet people, whether you want to imbibe in alcoholic beverages or maybe just a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It's a wonderful area. Also, patisseries, as you see in the upper right-hand corner, are located strategically throughout the ship, so you can have this type of snacking throughout the day anytime that you want. Lower left-hand corner is a view of your beautiful one-seating configuration dining room. Holds about 150 people, and if there are those of you that want to sit with particular people, it's good to walk in to the dining room at the same time, because like any fine restaurant, people will be there when the doors open, and you will then be shown to an available table. And then the lower right-hand corner is more open air space inside the ship where you can sit, you can chat, many areas conducive to conversation. So that's a bit about the ship. Let's take a look at the land. Paris, the Eiffel Tower, something that was supposed to be up for only a few months has become a world icon. When Eiffel created the Eiffel Tower, it was only for the purposes of the World's Fair and was supposed to be torn down after the fair had run its course. It's an impressive structure. What I would recommend to each and every one of you, if you have the opportunity, is to walk to the very center beneath the Eiffel Tower and look up. It will be an awe-inspiring view and one that you remember forever. Paris is also known for its art and collections, and the Louvre Museum is one of the most famous art museums in the world. A few years ago, they modernized the Louvre and added this pyramid structure in the courtyard of the Louvre. The Louvre is actually, in fact, the entire set of buildings surrounding the area, and this is what you will see when you drive by and go by the Louvre. Now, some of you may want to go back to the Louvre on your own, and if you desire to do that, I would recommend that you coordinate this with Paula, your European tour host that's going to be with you on this cruise, and with them in conjunction with your hotel concierge, have them make the best possible arrangements for you. Paris would not be complete without also seeing the Arc de Triomphe. This is famous. Those of us that remember the Germans marching down the Champs-Élysées during the Second World War, the Arc de Triomphe, which is at one end of the Champs-Élysées, is a breathtaking memorial. Go over, if you can, to the center of that memorial and see the eternal flame. Here we're looking down the most famous avenue of the world, known as the Champs-Élysées, and you see the Arc de Triomphe in the far distance. One of the pleasurable memories I have of being in Paris many times is starting out on one side of the avenue of the Champs-Élysées, walking clear up to the Arc de Triomphe, going out into the interior, looking at the flame, and then walking back down the avenue on the other side. It's lined with street cafes and coffee stops, very certainly something that you can enjoy doing. After you have spent your 2 nights in Paris, you're going to be whisked away to begin your adventure on your river cruise ship. And you're going to be doing this by high-speed train. You're not going to really have the sensation that you're going as fast as you are, but quite often they will have a speedometer situated near your window so you can actually see some of the ground speed that you were doing, 160, 180, 190 miles an hour, not uncommon. So when you're on the land, some of the things that you're going to be seeing and doing as you get off your cruise ship, you're going to be seeing Fourvière Hill in Lyon. It's famous. They will tell you why it's famous. It's a hill of many, many churches. Architecture is very beautiful. You're also going to see the historic aspect of France, the Burgundy and Provence areas, when you see such things as Tournon Castle and the Palace of the Popes at Avignon is certainly a memorable occasion. For many years, the head of the Catholic Church was not in Rome, but was in France, and this was and is the Palace of the Popes, and it is situated in Avignon. And France, or Gaul, was also an area occupied by the Romans. You'll still see the remnants of their presence, such as this Roman amphitheater in Arles. And from Arles, you're going to find your way down to the Mediterranean, and you're going to be on the French Riviera at Côte d'Azur. It's going to be a marvelous experience. You're going to see and do many things. You have a wonderful group of travelers. But now I think we need to get into the nuts and bolts of some of the things that have been sent to you in the way of documentation and perhaps raise some questions, or if not, answer some questions that you may be thinking about. So Paula, may I turn it back to you, please?
Okay, thank you, Larry. Hopefully by now all of you have received in the mail the documents that were sent out. If for some reason you have not, please do give us a call and let us know so that we can track those. They should have been delivered, I would think, by now, but with the post office, we're never quite sure. So, anyway, looking at those things that you got, there was the little blue envelope that held the important stuff. First of all, there is the travel document booklet here that yours would have your name and information on it, and we do strongly urge you to read that through once or twice from cover to cover because there's a lot of very important information. I'm not going to go through and read everything to you. I'm just going to go through and kind of point out some of the information that's in there and kind of call your attention to it. You'll notice on the left side there is a little shiny blue luggage tag. You will want to put that on your luggage before you leave home. It's sturdy enough. It should withstand handling by the airline. So do be sure that you attach that with your name, and believe it asks for our phone numbers on there as well. In your packet, there was also kind of a green sticker type of luggage sticker that says Avalon Waterways and Poetry 2 on it. And if you'll notice, there's a phone number on there for the cruise ship, and that one you will not put on until we get ready to embark the boat. So be sure that you keep that handy, but do not attach that when you leave home because probably it would become torn off. You also should have received several of the bright green luggage stickers. Please do attach those for sure to your large luggage, and you can each have one large piece of luggage. And then in addition, what we would recommend is that you may want to also attach those around the handles. Now, not on the flat sides or anything of that nature, but around the handles of not only your large piece of luggage, but your carry-on. A lot of people put them on their camera straps. Some ladies even put them on their purses or any kinds of bags that you're going to be carrying. The idea of the bright green one is that it's very bright and it's very easy to see those. And in the event that you leave one set, somebody's probably going to bring the attention to it because they're going to know that it belongs to a member of our group. Likewise, if you see one sitting somewhere, it's always good to bring it to the attention of our group so that we can be sure it's returned to the rightful owner. Another important use of these on this trip is we do have some of our group that's departing from Kansas City. And the three of them, the husband and wife, obviously know each other, and there's another lady who's traveling. And we'd like them to meet each other and help each other through airports and get acquainted while they're traveling. So for them, be sure that you do put these on some of your hand luggage so that you can be looking for each other when you get to the Kansas City airport. And that'll help all of you out because you can get acquainted and kind of stick together and help each other. An important question that we always get is, well, how big of luggage can we take? Well, again, I'm going to emphasize that on a tour such as this, you're allowed to take one large piece of checked luggage. And the size to meet the airline requirements is going to be a total of 62 inches. The way that you would arrive at that number of inches is to add the height, the length, and the width, one time for each of those, and it cannot exceed the 62 inches. International flights, we are able to check a large bag and not pay for checked luggage unless it is oversized. So if it's bigger than that, the airline will charge you. As important as that is, it's also important that your bag not exceed 50 pounds. Again, if you exceed the 50 pounds allowed by the airline, they are going to charge you an overweight fee. So those are two important things to remember as you pack. Another important thing is the 311 rule to help you get through security. And 311 stands for you're not allowed to take on liquids or gels that are in containers that are 3 ounces or more. So they have to be 3 ounces or less to carry them onto the plane. In addition, your 3 ounce container should all fit into a 1 quart bag, and each person is allowed one. So one person, 1 quart of 3 ounce containers. So do remember that as you pack your carry-on. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't take larger containers of liquids or gels. It just means that you will need to place those into your checked luggage. Another important thing that is on the news quite a bit and we hear a lot about is the lithium batteries. So if you're taking anything that has lithium batteries, it may be such a thing as a watch, calculator, camera, some cell phones, laptops, hearing aids, a lot of those. And you're allowed to take those on board in a carry-on. Any spare lithium batteries that you carry on must be individually protected with the idea that they're not touching each other to cause a short circuit. So you can either wrap them individually or you can put tape over the ends when you put them into your carry-on or into your checked luggage. But it is important that you do that. You can only take lithium batteries that have a wattage between 100 and 160 watt hours. Anything larger than that, you will not be able to take on the plane, and each person is allowed a maximum of 20 spare batteries. And if that pertains to you or you have something that you're taking and you have additional questions, if you let us know, we can provide you with a link to go in and read all of the fine print and in more detail. Several things to talk about, and first of all, let's talk about the passport, because that's probably one of the most important things here, is you absolutely must have your valid passport. If you forget that, then you will not be flying out of the country. So that's very important. Temperatures are outlined in the document booklet, and you're going to find that expected to be in the mid 60s in some places, low 60s in others. But do keep in mind that to get an average, you have a day that was well below the 60-degree mark, and you're going to have some days that are over that. So you're going to want to pack your suitcase with clothes that you can layer. It's important that you be able to add to or take off as temperatures change throughout the day as we're out touring. One thing that people usually, one of the many things, I guess I should say, that people really like about river cruising is that it's not formal. So there's no need to take sport coats. There's no need to take dresses. However, you may see some sport coats because I think that a lot of men maybe wear those even as a jacket for warmth. But as far as wearing anything for dressy reasons, there is no need to do that. Smart casual is pretty much the dress for the meals. They do ask that you not come in like jeans or flip-flops, tank tops, things of that nature. Tipping is an important thing to also talk about. And as you read through your booklet, you're going to find that there are some vouchers in there, which I really think is a neat idea because not everybody on board our boat is going to have prepaid gratuities for the tour manager and for the boat crew. And so that they're not thinking that you're walking off and they've done some really nice things for you and you didn't tip them. We actually have received vouchers in our booklet that we can hand to those people. So that will show that, yes, we have provided a gratuity for you. And I think that'll be a nice thing that they're doing. And that's something new that I have not had before, but I think that's very nice. In addition, when we have some local guides and bus drivers for some of the sightseeing, the gratuities for them is also taken care of. So there will not be a need to provide gratuities for those people. Normally, for the meals that you eat when we're not on the boat and you're in a restaurant, you're going to find that the service fee gratuity, if you will, on your meal is already included in the price of the meal. In the event that you look and you do not see that it's included, then 15% would kind of be the standard gratuity that you would offer. It is also customary that even though it's included, that you just round up with a slight bit more when you're paying your bill. Now, in France, you're going to find that unlike here at home, when you want to give a gratuity and you just add it to your credit card or your debit card, that's not customary there. So you would want to have some euros to be able to do that should you choose to provide a little extra. And also another added benefit of Please Go Away Vacations is there is never a expected gratuity for your personal hostess. It's something that we don't expect nor will we accept. So unlike other tour companies, that can add up to quite a savings over several days. You're going to want to have some euros, and you're going to need to exchange money or get it from your bank. If you live in a larger city, that's not always convenient here for us out in the middle of Kansas, but some people are able to do that in the larger places. You probably won't need to have a lot, but one of the things that you're going to find in Europe that it's not uncommon if you need to use a restroom that you're going to need to have some coins. So do kind of plan accordingly. What I always do and plan to do again this time is I will get some euros when we're changing planes in Atlanta on the way over. We'll go from a domestic terminal over to the international terminal, and there are exchange desks in there, and that's where I will plan to get a few euros. If you're planning to use a credit card while you're away, that's perfectly fine. You do want to be sure that you have a Visa and perhaps even a MasterCard. Most places will not accept the other. So Visa's the most widely accepted, followed second by MasterCard. American Express is a very, very distant third and not even safe to depend on. And then Discover, you're kind of wasting your time probably taking that. I recently had someone tell me that their bank has changed, but I'm still going to caution you on two things. Do tell your credit card company either by a phone call or going online and registering a travel program so that if you go to use it, and especially if you're depending on using it, that it's not declined. Now, my credit card company still requires that I tell them when I'm going out of the country or doing anything that's out of the ordinary, even within the states. So I would do that, even if, and then you might find out that you don't have to, because just this week someone told me that they called their credit card company and were told, oh, you don't need to do that. So I still would plan to do that just in case. Another important thing, if you're planning to use any electrical appliances, camera chargers, phone chargers, anything of that nature, you're going to want to be sure that you have a kit, or at least you may need two different pieces that you see here on the bottom right-hand corner. If you have, like for instance, my iPhone is a dual current. My curling iron is also a dual current, so I only need to use an adapter, which makes it fit into the plug either in the hotel or on the boat. If you have something that you're going to need to charge that is not a dual current, then you're going to need to also have a converter that converts it from our 110 to the Europe 220. And then once you have it converted, you still need the adapter to plug into the outlet. So depending on what you're doing, we kind of have an idea of if you need to do both or you only need to do the adapter. Now the square on the outside of that bottom picture is the converter, and you would plug your American appliance into it, and then you would have to have the adapter that would still need to fit into the wall. Now, the one that you're going to need, and it's a good idea if you have a kit, I would take the whole thing. But the one that you need is actually the one that's sitting outside on the front of the box that has the two little prongs, is the one that they have indicated is for use while we're on board the boat. So again, if you have any questions about that, then you can give us a call, and one of our staff will be happy to visit with you in more details about that. So we've talked about temperatures, clothing. You don't want to go with all the luggage like that gentleman has there on the right. No one needs to take that much stuff, and if you do, you're going to pay some pretty good fees to check it on the airline. In addition, you're going to have to pay extra for that to be handled while on board, when we're going like in and out of the hotels and things of that nature where the handling is included. So you would need to keep that into consideration. The size of a carry-on bag is indicated in our document booklets is a little bit smaller than what I'm sure many of you are used to using. The 18-inch roller bags that we often use here in the States, yes, that fits in the overhead of the airplane. It is not going to fit in the overhead of a European tour bus. So if you take one such as that, do know that while we're traveling, that the times that we're on the bus and going to a hotel or things of that nature, it's going to need to go underneath the bus. So anytime that you would have that, you would set it beside the bus, the driver would put it on. Then when we get where we're going, they're going to set it back on the ground, and it would be your responsibility to pick it up and get it onto the boat, into the hotel, or things of that nature. So it's better if you can plan to have something smaller, and I know there are some smaller roller bags that you probably could get under the seat in the bus that could stay with you. But you would not want to have that with your medications, your camera, things of that, because you would not have access to it from the time we boarded the bus until we got off, later that day before you would have it again. So you certainly wouldn't want medications in there. We're going to be river cruising, and you do need to all be aware that Mother Nature can have a very big effect on an itinerary. And by that, I mean that if there's a lot of rain, the water levels can either be up or they can be down during droughts. And there are such things as lock repairs and different obstacles such as labor strikes, all kinds of unforeseen disruptions that affect river travel that you wouldn't think that it would make a big deal. But in the event that anything of that nature happens, they, sometimes will need to make some last minute changes and things of that nature. So just a little FYI so you can be flexible when we're traveling. There is a plan and we stick to plans, but on occasion things do happen that can affect things of that are beyond our control. So with that being said, I'm going to say again, thank you for going away with Please Go Away Vacations. I'm looking forward to traveling with all of you, meeting those of you that I've not had the pleasure of meeting, and it'll be fun to travel with those of you that I have traveled with previously to see you again. So please give us a call if you have questions. Our phone number is 1-800-362-9347. Our hours are Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. You can also reach us at any time at answers@travel pleasegoaway.com. So thank you, and do give us a call with questions.